Hello there, it's 4 p.m. in Nigeria. Welcome to Nationwide. I'm Ogochkuka Ona. Senate and House of Representatives have rescinded decision on the 2025 budget bill passed last week to enable corrections on some errors in line items under capital and recurrent. While the budget size remains 54.9 trillion naira, the capital expenditure has been reduced by 500 billion naira, and the recurrent expenditure was increased by same amount. The bill, as passed by both chambers, sequel to a motion from the chairman of the Joint Committee on Appropriations, Senator Adeola Olamilekun, and the Appropriations Committee chairman in the House of Representatives, Abubakar Kabiru, now puts recurrent expenditure at 13.588 trillion naira, while the capital expenditure is 23.439 trillion naira. The National Assembly on Thursday, 13th February, passed the 2025 appropriation bill, in which 13.064 trillion was allocated for recurrent and 23.963 went to capital. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Mohammed Goroyo, has reaffirmed federal government's commitment to improve road maintenance across the country to further boost employment, improve security, and enhance economic growth of the nation. He stated this during his inspection of various rehabilitated road projects carried out by the Federal Road Maintenance Agency in Kogi State. Solomon Ayedein reports.
Minister of State for Works, Bello Mohammed Goroyo, accompanied by the Managing Director of Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, Emeka Agbasi, was in Kogi State in continuation of his familiarization tour of FEMA offices across the country. The visit provides a platform for the team to inspect ongoing road maintenance work on federal roads in Kogi State. Their first port of call was the restated culvert and field sections along Okene Adogo Ajaokuta Road and the rehabilitated washout, potholes and field sections along Ajaokuta Itobe Ayangba Road, which was carried out through direct labor. He reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to improve road maintenance across the country in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda.
The sources of funding may be through tolling of our roads, and then the issue of way bridges where the tolling has been, where the roads are adequately rehabilitated and maintained. So there are so many other sources of funding which you have to look at inwards to ensure that we maintain these roads.
We've had attestations from the community that the work we've done has reduced security risk to the community, kidnapping has reduced, and it has had a huge social economic impact on this community. The quality of work I've seen is good.
The team had earlier met with the agency's staff in Lokoja, assuring them of improved welfare, reiterating government's dedication to enhancing the nation's road network. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
We return to the legislature, where the House of Representatives has condemned the rising cases of homicide, particularly the killing of female citizens in parts of the country without perpetrators being brought to book. Adopting a motion raised on the issue, the House called on the relevant law enforcement agencies to give priority to the long list of homicide investigations and ensure thorough prosecution of offenders. Lawmakers also prevailed on the National Judicial Council to designate special divisions within existing courts at all levels to expedite justice delivery on cases of homicide and femicide.
The recent killing of Salome Adaidu, a National Youth Corps member in Nasarawa State, is a continuation of the trend. The list is endless. Distraught by the delays in the prosecution of homicide cases, which have caused prolonged pre-trial detentions, which is overcrowding the correctional facilities, and loss of crucial evidence, eroding public faith in the judicial system.
To call on our agencies and institutions responsible for investigation, prevention, and enforcement to get up and do the needful. And when these things happen, We just don't want to hear that it has happened. We want to hear that somebody was prosecuted.
We must act decisively to ensure that these heinous crimes are met with the full force of the law. Our justice system must serve as both a deterrent and a beacon of hope for the vulnerable.
This is about the only country I know in the world where you can lodge into a hotel without proper identification. It doesn't happen in any other place. You go into a hotel, you are profiled, your international passport or photo ID is taken and captured. In Nigeria today, you go to most of the hotels, they just allow guests in, and they use these places to perpetrate most of these killings.
This motion is referred to the Committees on Judiciary, Human Rights and Women Affairs for further legislative action.
In another motion, the House adopted a resolution urging the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control and other relevant agencies to intensify surveillance and crackdowns on fake drug manufacturers and distributors nationwide. With more emphasis on preventive corruption rather than enforcement, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, is enhancing strategies to enable its personnel to tackle corruption head-on. To achieve this, the Commission, in collaboration with Servicom, is organizing a nationwide sensitization workshop to ensure that global standard operating procedures are adhered to. The chairman of the Commission reiterates integrity and professionalism as the watchwords when carrying out duties.
In delivering your services to Nigerians, you should understand that we should respect whoever comes in here, no matter what, as a complainant or as a suspect. Because as we know that sometimes a complaint might be filed against somebody and it might turn out not to be true.
When you have the right attitude to work, you work in such a manner that you meet deadlines, you meet standards, set standards. You work in accordance with ethical provisions as spelled out in the office. You work in line with your terms of reference for that specific assigned duty that you have.
We are here to fight corruption, but we have to fight it using the best practices, international best practices, and we have to do it the best way to get results for Nigerians, to save money, to prevent corruption, and to make sure that the guilty are brought to book.
The federal government is calling on the United States to adhere to established protocols when deporting immigrants from its territory. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, made the appeal in a statement following a visit by the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr., to the ministry. The statement by the state's minister's media aide, Magnus Eze, says Bianca Ojukwu raised concerns over the emotional and financial distress faced by many Nigerians in the U.S. since the new administration signaled its intention to deport certain categories of immigrants who have families in Nigeria who depend on their remittances for survival and education. She revealed that around 201 Nigerians are currently in U.S. immigration camps, with approximately 85 already cleared for deportation. The statement clarified that the U.S. government remains committed to its U.S. aid programs and other initiatives, particularly in healthcare and humanitarian aid. Similarly, she assured Nigerian students in the U.S. under U.S. aid that they will not be affected by reforms embarked by the new U.S. administration. It also explained that drop-box visa policy has not been suspended but under review, ensuring that genuine travelers are not unduly burdened when applying for visas. The statement also expressed United States' commitment to strengthening the continued bilateral trade relations with Nigeria. Now, as this year's Ramadan draws nearer, the Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Abuja has held an official ceremony to distribute 100 tons of dates to Nigeria as part of its annual humanitarian relief efforts. Tope Alabi reports that the initiative is facilitated by the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center.
Every year, The custodian of the two holy mosques, Khadim al-Haramain al-Sharifain, donates tons of dates through the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center, aims at supporting vulnerable families across the country and to strengthen the deep-rooted ties between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. During the ceremony, Saudi Arabian ambassador to Nigeria, Faisal bin Ibrahim Al-Ghamdi, conveyed the kingdom's dedication to humanitarian causes as he expressed his profound gratitude to King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud for their unwavering support in providing aid to Muslims and underserved communities worldwide. Saudi Arabia has been a long-standing partner in providing humanitarian aid to nations across the globe, including Nigeria. The kingdom's continued efforts in supporting food security and welfare initiatives exemplify its role as a global leader in charitable and humanitarian endeavors.
Every leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the good people of Nigeria, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Parliament, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama-Tuga, OON, the Permanent Secretary, the family of all the Minister of Foreign Affairs and all the Nigerians, good people. We really appreciate this kind gesture through King Salman Humanitarian for always there for Nigeria when the need arises.
The ongoing provision of aid to Nigeria is a testament to these commitments and highlights the decades-long partnership between the two brotherly nations. In Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
And now talking health, the oncology department of the Jos University Teaching Hospital is emphasizing the need for sustained public awareness on cancer in view of its devastating effect. This was at a cancer awareness in Jos. Ndeyang and the Abagyang reports.
An oncologist at the Jos University Teaching Hospital describes cancer as one of the leading causes of death. He then calls for early detection through periodic check and effective treatment. In line with the global campaign, Jos University Teaching Hospital has taken the lead in raising awareness and promoting healthy living, where medical professionals educate the public on preventive measures.
Because it affects everybody economically, psychosocially, and then in other aspects, it is something that involves everybody. When people get to come early, treatment is cheaper and cure is achieved.
A cancer survivor, Alice Motawal, highlights importance of regular screening and significance of early diagnosis in improving survival rates, while other caregivers call on government to subsidize treatment.
We are campaigning this time so that people don't come up with cancer, and those that are already affected, we want them to come out. And we tell people to eat well. These are some of the things that prevents not only cancer, other diseases too.
In Jos, Ndenyan and the Abagyang, NTA News.
And Ndeyang is still in Jos, but this time live, and she'll be telling us more on cancer treatment and management in Jos University Teaching Hospital. Hello, Ndeyang. Please tell us briefly the situation in Jos, particularly in relation to patients' care.
Thank you. Jude has a radiation and clinical oncology department that is saddled with the responsibility of managing cancer patients. Currently, the hospital provides chemotherapy and surgery treatment for cancer patients, and efforts are on ground for radiotherapy treatment, hopefully by next year. I had a discussion with the head of department radiation and clinical oncology department of Jude, Dr. Maurice Nemak, and he told me that they see more of breast and cervical cancer in women, prostate in men, and colorectal and liver cancer in both women and men. Averagely, they see between 7 to 10 new patients weekly. with various cases of cancer. And this is a serious source of concern, as it appears the disease is on the increase in the state. This has raised a lot of questions on lifestyle. The issue of the very high burden of hepatitis B and C infection, especially in the southern part of the state, is increasing the rate of patients with liver cancer, which is the fourth most presented cancer case in youth. High alcohol consumption is also believed to be a factor. This has pushed oncologists to work hard in raising awareness. They do this through media campaigns. They go out to communities, markets, and worship centers, which is an ongoing process.
All right, so you mentioned the lifestyle. This is very worrisome. So what are the challenges associated with cancer treatments in that place?
Yeah, Ogochukwu, the challenge is that most patients come to the hospital and present late with metastatic cancer. That is, the disease has spread, affecting other organs of the body, where treatment is only to palliate and not to cure. Another challenge, and also a source of concern, is the out-of-pocket expenses for cancer treatment, which is not cheap, depending on the type of cancer treatment, which could range from between 900 to 2.5 million naira or more every 3 weeks. For instance, for every chemotherapy, a patient spends between 70 to 150,000 naira every week. And bulk of patients on insurance cannot access treatment because they are not covered, and this is why patients present to hospital themselves to hospital very late. And for this, the orthopedics are pleading with relevant agencies and philanthropists to synergize towards providing free cancer treatments in the country. They believe that when this is done, it will help ease the burden of cancer care in the country.
Thank you very much, Ndeyang, and we hope help is on the way as people are watching. All right, thank you so much. We'll now be going to our Lagos Network Center. Adiola has the next set of reports. Adiola.
Adiola. Ensuring trade facilitation by creating an enabling environment for seamless international trade is the goal of the World Customs Organization, and Nigeria is aligning with this best practices through the authorized economic operators. Joe Bukwola reports that achieving economic prosperity is also a major agenda of this initiative.
The Authorized Economic Operators Initiative cannot be overemphasized, with the prospect already materializing. The pilot phase, which began in April 2024, is yielding results as trade value has risen from 185 billion in 2023 to 563 billion in 2024, thereby increasing revenue for the customs. The Controller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, says Nigeria Authorized Economic Operators is strategically benchmarked in tandem with the templates of two leading customs administrations, which are His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, United Kingdom, and South Africa Revenue Service.
These achievements substantiate the compelling benefits of the AEO programs, and this include accelerated customs clearance processes, substantial reduction in physical inspection, priority treatment in customs processes, enhanced predictability in supply chain operations, and measurable cost efficiency.
Adeni explained that the program supports the President's 8-point agenda by promoting food security through faster clearance of agricultural inputs and machinery, driving economic growth through trade facilitation, and creating jobs through expanded business opportunity. Development partners are already working with Nigeria for expansion of this initiative.
And we were delighted that this is one of our many partnerships between British organisations and Nigerian organisations. The exchange focused on dealing with SMEs, a sector that forms the lion's share of Nigeria's economy.
Having gained traction in international trade, Nigeria is setting another ambitious target for the nearest future. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Available data from the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, shows that women constitute only 35% of those in science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM fields. Stakeholders pinpoint gender stereotypes and cultural biases as some factors responsible for these unchanging statistics. Amaka Owo reports that it is the opinion of informed minds that this should be changed through stringent policies, enforce early education in STEM for the girl child, and reorientation to shift the trend.
Be a medical doctor. I want to be an engineer.
From all indications, these female students already express interests in the science, technology, engineering and mathematics education. They represent other female students and more who aspire and are desirous of a career path in the STEM fields. Key players believe they should be given the enabling environment to actualize their dreams. As over the years, education experts say there is an underrepresentation of women in the STEM fields, which they believe remains a setback in the changing world of innovations and scientific discovery. Need for sensitization to address these existing gaps and increase the percentage of female gender in STEM fields have been brought forward.
With the AI-driven society, the world is a global village today because of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we can't afford to be left behind. We have to promote, we have to balance this inequality. We have to bridge and close this gap between male and females who study STEM and I emphasize male and female who practice STEM.
Attaining gender parity in STEM education, many remain optimistic that it will reposition the technological and innovative space, as well as give Nigeria a pride of place among the Committee of Nations. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Ogochikuka in Abuja after this break.
Sympathizers have continued to visit to condole with the bereaved family of an elder statesman and leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Chief Edwin Clark, who died Monday, 17th February 2025. Among them are dignitaries who joined in a brief worship session held in his residence by the Anglican Church. Mia Ogidi reports.
Political conference held in Abuja here. I was the leader of the South-South. When we asked for increase of the 13%, what did they ask me? What is your people doing with, what is your governors doing with the 13% derivation?
When an Iroko falls in the forest, everywhere vibrates. The earthquakes, the leaves grumble in obeisance to the force of gravity. And everyone can tell that something consequential has occurred. A brutally frank voice is no more.
They should not allow people to mislead them. Even their
like the whistle from the Iroko tree that never fades. Chief Edwin Clark's ideals for justice and unity remain a national memory. A house that usually hosts dignitaries in the discussion of national issues is hosting sympathizers for the transition of its owner, Chief Edwin Clark. At 11:30 p.m. Monday, February 17th, an Iroko is gone. Children, younger brother, and kinsmen saddened, but comforted by his legacies.
His last words on Sunday before he was moved to the emergency units in the hospital was that Nigeria is my country. I loved Nigeria.
Born May 25, 1927 in Kiabodo, Delta State, late Chief Edwin Clark served as a Federal Commissioner for Information, Senator of the Federal Republic, member of the House of Representatives, and the national leader of PANDEF. Though he's gone, but his legacies will continue to occupy a central place in the nation's history. Mia Ogidi, NTA.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu is deeply saddened by the passing of Chief Edwin Clark, former Federal Commissioner of Information and respected leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF. Chief Clark, 97, was born on May 25, 1927 in Kiabodo, Burutu local government area of Delta State. He led an illustrious life marked by dedicated service at different times to the nation and its community as a councillor, state and federal cabinet member. He was also a passionate advocate for resource control, economic and environmental justice in the Niger Delta. On behalf of the federal government, the president extends his condolences to the Edwin Clark family, the Ijaw Nation, the people of Niger Delta, and the government of Delta State. President Tinubu mourns Chief Clark and describes his passing as a deeply sobering loss. Reflecting on the life of the late statesman, the president says Chief Clark was a towering figure whose influence was felt across Nigeria's political firmament for nearly 6 decades. The president states that Chief Clark was a courageous leader who stood for what he believed in and was never afraid to stand alone in the face of injustice. The statement says Chief Clark spoke for the Niger Delta, for the nation, and his views and interventions on national issues were distinct and patriotic. It adds that Pa Clark, a lawyer and educationist, believed in a united Nigeria, and until his last breath, he never stopped reaching out to people from different parts of the country to work together to preserve national unity based on justice and equity. President Tinubu prays for divine comfort for Chief Clark's family, friends, and all those affected by this significant loss, noting that history will remember him as a man who fought gallantly for the rights of the people of the Niger Delta, unity in diversity, and true federalism. Now, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says the death of Pa Edwin Clark is a monumental loss to Nigeria and the Niger Delta. In a condolence message, Akpabio describes Pa Clark as a renowned statesman, nationalist, and a Ijaw leader dedicated to the unity and development of Nigeria. He extends his deep condolences to his family, PANDEF, as well as the government and people of Delta State, and prayed God to grant him peaceful rest. And also the governor of Bayelsa State and the chairman, South-South Governors Forum, Senator Doyediri, says he received the news of the passing of the Ijaw ethnic nationality's foremost personage and leader, Chief Edwin Kiabodo Clark, with sadness and equanimity. Governor Diri, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Daniel Alabra, noted that the Ijaw nation has lost its father figure and irrepressible voice. He noted that Chief Clark was an icon, a treasure of inestimable value, and a nationalist par excellence. He described him as a distinguished patriot who dedicated his whole life to the service of Nigeria. Until the very end, he was unrelenting. As the Ijaw nation reflects on the passing of this exceptional sage, Governor Diri urges the people to take solace in his matchless contributions to national development State. On behalf of the Ijaw Nation, the government and people of Bayelsa State, Governor Diri expresses heartfelt condolences to the Clark family of Kiagbodo in Burutu local government area and the Delta State government. He prays that the Lord grants the family and indeed the Ijaw Nation the grace to bear this great loss. Consequently, the governor directed that all flags in the state should be flown at half-mast for 3 days, and all state government's 5th anniversary activities remain suspended for the same period. And similarly, former President Muhammadu Buhari says the death of Chief Edwin Clark has caused him deep sorrow, and many others describing his departure as a loss for the nation. Calling him an iconic statesman, the former president says the late Clark was a leader. The former president said the late Ijaw leader had left an indelible imprint on the nation, and that in his passing, Nigeria has lost an iconic statesman and a distinguished leader. His commitment to the unity of the country, dedicated to reforms and commitments to the development of the community and the nation, the former president noted would always be respected by generations to come. He urges the Clark family and fellow citizens in the Niger Delta region to uphold his numerous achievements. And away from that, the federal government is upscaling access to electricity in communities as some rural areas in Plateau State benefit from the solar mini-grid intervention. Joshua Ojito reports that under the initiative, 3,700 communities nationwide are expected to be connected with solar mini-grid.
For more than 2 decades, communities of Bakin, Chiawa, and Kwande in Kwampa local government area of Plateau State have been without electricity, and all efforts to connect these communities to the national grid yielded no result due to vandalism. Now, federal government stepped in with this intervention of solar mini-grid to supply the communities with electricity at affordable rates.
In celebration, the communities turned out for the inauguration of the solar hybrid mini-grids.
We are very, very happy.
I will ensure all of you to make sure that this project does not suffer vandalism.
The mini-grids will supply electricity to more than 3,500 households.
The first phase, which is going to be 25 communities per state, will end up being 925 communities across board in the entire federation, and will be infusing over 92 megawatts of clean energy into our energy space to serve the communities, mostly the rural communities.
More than 20,000 people will benefit from this project, and it is important for job creation, also especially for agriculture, industries, and many other areas.
The 1.2 billion counterpart funding was paid to enable our primary health clinics get lighted through projects like this.
European Union and the German government supported federal government with more than 60% funding for the projects under the Nigerian Energy Support Program. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Following the just concluded rebasing of the Consumer Price Index, which measures the rates of change in prices of goods and services, Nigeria's inflation declined to 24.48% year-on-year in January 2025. Figures released this Tuesday by the Statistician General of the Federation, Adeyemi Adeniran, indicates that the general price level in the country increased at a slower rate in January 2025 compared to December 2024. Muplan Dakok reports.
Nigeria's inflation rate declined to 24.48% in January 2025, showing a significant drop from 34.80% recorded in December 2024. What is also new is that the number of items in the consumer price basket have increased from 740 to 934, allowing for more comprehensive assessment of inflationary trends.
This increase was mainly driven by food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurants and accommodation services, as well as transport.
The food index for January 2025 stood at 110.03, leading to food inflation rate of 26.08% year-on-year. The core inflation index was 110.7, translating to core inflation rate of 22.59% year-on-year. The urban inflation rate was 26.09%, while rural inflation rate stood at 22.15%.
All these enhancements to the methodology, in addition to the movement of the base year and price reference period closer to the current period, means that going forward, the price estimate from MBS will be much more reflective of the current inflationary pressure experienced within the economy.
The National Bureau of Statistics clarified that the rebased figures do not imply a reduction in prices of goods and services. Instead, they indicate that the rate at which prices are rising has slowed down following the adjustment to the new base year. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
We now join Enugu for more reports, and Chika Okuri is leading us on the latest stories from that zone. Hello, Chika.
Hello. Welcome to Enugu Network Center. In the face of global trend of expanded communication mechanisms, the scope of public relations and information officers' duties has widened. This necessitated a 3-day training workshop for federal information officers in the Southeast by NTA TV College Jos to build a robust communication and information strategy for both the organizations and the publics in Enugu. Chegeono Aro reports.
Public relations controls and manages information while also maintaining positive image and reputation of their organizations through various media channels. Facilitators and participants saw a compelling need for an upgrade in information gathering and dissemination on an interactive platform with the aim of driving an effective representation through modern media handles. Declaring the workshop open, the Zonal Director, NTA Enugu Network Center, x-rayed the demanding roles of modern-age public relations and information officers and charged the participants to avail themselves of the opportunity provided.
I encourage you to engage fully. I encourage you to also make use of this opportunity to expand your skills and knowledge.
Facilitators of the workshop are optimistic that the training will build an effective communication, which is critical in building trust, resolving conflicts, and achieving organizational goals.
Main aim of this training for the staff of the Federal Ministry of Information to be updated with the activities that is happening around them and how they can handle properly their jobs in their ministry.
Strengthen them, gathering information, disseminating information as government workers.
Some participants expressed readiness to leverage on the training and expand their scope.
Learning the ethics of public relations, transparency, honesty, accuracy, media reporting, reputation management as well.
It has been impactful in our job.
In Enugu, Chiegono Aro, NTA News.
Over 300 indigent SS3 students selected from the 13 political wards in Enugu South local government area are among beneficiaries of the 2025 WAEC and UTME Bursary Award in Enugu State. Chimaroke Ugu covered the official presentation of checks to the beneficiaries.
For any society to thrive, education will be given ultimate priority. This was manifested in Governor Peter Mba's allocation of almost 33% of the 2025 budget to education development and the construction of smart schools in the 260 political wards in Enugu State. Enugu South Council Chairman says he is committed to replicate the developmental strides in the grassroots, emphasizing that the program is one of the policy policy thrust of his administration in education.
This very exercise is done not just for the indigent, but even the non-indigenous, because our governor is somebody that believes in equity and fairness.
Some stakeholders and beneficiaries who reacted as the checks were given extolled the efforts of the council chairman to address the poverty index through investment in education.
The youth is going to feel the impact of this governance.
He's made this day a memorable day for students, for giving them opportunity. We know they are indigent and they're vulnerable students. Many people, their parents can't pay their fees.
The WAEC and UTME fees is aimed at ameliorating the challenges faced by indigent parents in the rural areas. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Enugu Network Center. Time now to observe another break as the news resumes shortly.
To Maiduguri, Committee on Review of Ban on Metal Scavenging, led by its chairman Nasiru Ali Surundi, has described road transport associations as critical components that can play a pivotal role in ensuring that the committee achieve its core mandate. This came up during a meeting between the committee and members of road association in Borno State, as the committee looks forward to presenting its report to Borno State government. Abubakar Musa reports.
The meeting, which comprised members of National Union of Road Transport Workers, National Association of Road Transport Owners, as well as Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, is for road transport associations to give the Committee on Review of Ban on Metal Scavenging the desired support and cooperation in its determination to totally sanitize metal scavenging business across Borno State. After an elaborate deliberation, particularly in terms of ensuring that road transport associations do not in any way allow their members or vehicles be used in conveying metals in and outside the state illegally, Chairman Committee on Review of Ban on Metal Scavenging, Nasiru Ali Surundi, explained that the committee is expected to present a comprehensive report to Borno State government in the long run, expressing optimism that the committee's target is feasible, going by the series of meetings held with executives of different scavengers associations so far.
We appeal to them to avoid to maintain the executive order given by His Excellency, and which they have agreed, and they are going to constitute a committee within them to be monitoring each and every truck that they will be going out of the town, so that he will not pick any scrap metals in the vehicle or the truck.
Leaders of the road transport associations said the inauguration of Committee on Review of Ban on Metal Scavenging by Governor Babagana Umara clearly indicates his compassion towards the plight of masses, expressing readiness to align themselves with the state government's policies, especially issues that have to do with security. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
For many students in Borno State, the struggle for education is not just about learning. It's about resilience, survival, and the hope of a better future. Recognizing this, the Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation, Lawan Abo Kilby, embarked on a week-long tour across the state to assess the progress of ongoing rehabilitation projects and ensure that the schools are on the path to recovery. Pauline Kujavan has details.
This constant supervisory visit to schools by the Commissioner of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, Lawan Abo Kilby, across the state, aims to ensure that students receive quality education.
Privileged to welcome you, the Honorable Commissioner. Sir, you are highly welcome to this great and noble schools.
The Commissioner of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, Lawan Abo Kilby's visit began at the Vocational Training Center Biu, followed by inspection at Government Senior Science Secondary School and Command Girls Secondary School Biu. The team then proceeded to Kwayakusar, where they visited several schools, including Government Day Secondary School Wandali and Government Secondary School, Mega Primary and Junior Day Secondary School Kwayakusar. The commissioner then proceeded to inspect schools in Bio Local Government Area to include GJDSS Belbaya, Government Technical College Uyo, and GSS Buriel. On the final day of the tour, the commissioner inspected Filin Jirgi GDSS Primary and Junior Day Secondary School before visiting GSS Wakabiu. At the College of Education Wakabiu, Wakilwe engaged with teachers undergoing Phase 5 upgrade training program. The team also inspected ongoing mega school construction projects in GDSS and assessed GDSS and Junior Day and Primary Schools Buretai. Upon returning to Maiduguri, Commissioner Wakilbe attended the closing ceremony of a week-long training program for vice principals of government secondary schools in the state.
The condition of the 2022 National Council on Education, where teachers will be given hardship allowances, rural posting allowances, and the rest. All these allowances have been added. That is why your salary is higher than the regular school staff.
As Borno State government continues to prioritize education, students can look forward to improved learning environment and increased opportunities for success. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Those are the trending stories from the Home of Peace. Nationwide continues with Okujukuka in Abuja. Stay with us.
Thank you, Ladidi. We now bring you some stories in sports.
The Nigerian Basketball Federation, NBBF, officially released the final 12-man roster for the third window of the FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers set to take place in Tripoli, Libya from 21st of February 2025. Two home-based players made the Tigers' final roster that includes a strong mix of experienced players and emerging talents. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Gabi Vincent has been elected as one of the newest vice presidents of the National Basketball Players Association, NBPA, Tuesday during the annual winter meeting of the board. In table tennis, defending champions Nigeria's Aruna Kodri and Egypt's Dina Mishrev are set to defend their titles at the 2025 ITTF African Cup in Tunis, Tunisia from February 25th to 27th. Aruna will renew his long-time rivalry with Egypt's Omar Azhar. In the women's event, nine-time champion Dina Mishrev will defend her own crown against rising star and compatriot Hannah Goda. The four semi-finalists in both categories will automatically qualify for the ITTF Singles World Cup Macau 2025. In another news, preparations have been concluded for the Maiden Niger Delta Sport Festival, scheduled for Akwa Ibom State from April 1st to 9th, 2025. Addressing the media in Lagos to herald the sports festival, co-chairman of the main organizing committee, Ichako Ikpopo, stated that 17 sports will feature in the first edition, which focuses on making the region the hub of talent discovery and development in the country.
These young stars who are going to show potentials, NADC wants to see how we can, beyond the festival, develop their talents by exposing them to competitions.
About 30,000 athletes between the ages of 16 and 25 are set to take part in this sports competition. With sports update, Olumide Egutola, NTA News.
And Nationwide ends here today. Many thanks for watching.